nobody told me that Grameen started in those islands and why they needed Grameen. I'm always talking about the poor people, how they are struggling to get $10 loan, $20 loan, and $50 loan. Here in Norway, by any stretch of imagination, you will not find any poor people. But they needed loans, which nobody else will provide them. Banking system would not come and provide them the loans.
The first thing I bought with my loan in Bank was my computer. Well, I have earned a lot of money writing about Bank. Yes, my articles have been in many papers around.
We started in 1976 in one village, just lending out $27 to 42 people. Now, after all these years, by 1999, we are working in 39,000 villages. We loaned out to 2.4 million borrowers, 94% of them are women. And over years, in a cumulative way, we have lent out something like near $3 billion worth of money. Not only we gave that $3 billion worth of money, but also that money came back with interest. And bank makes decent profit, reasonable profit. It covers all its cost. Grameen Bank has now 13,000 staff. One of the basic principles of Grameen always been the people should not come to the bank should go to the people.
We are going to a village, it is under the branch of Bultarubganj, and this branch is under the district of Narayanganj as one of the zonal office in Grameen Bank. And this village is located nearby river Shitolokka. Grameen started in here around mid-80s, and that time the development was very, very bad. We didn't have infrastructure at all that time, and to enter this village you have to walk. I personally really impressed so much, happy so much to see at least we have a road. House of Jaina, number this is a house of group number? আপনি কি এখানে সেল করেন? Do you sell it around? আপনি কি এখানে বিক্রি করেন? হ্যাঁ, আমি বাড়িতে বিক্রি করি। So she sells clothes for making blouses, making girl dress, and also making boys dress.
These women in Grameen Bank who never had any experience of handling any money at all. Many had pleaded with us, they never touched money in their lives. Now they not only touched money, they took the loan, invested it, earned money, which they never did before, paid back the bank, and asked for a larger amount of money. And it is done in a business way, and Grameen Bank is owned by the borrowers.
She bought this cow 5 years ago, and then another loan, another milch cow, and then 5 babies from 2 cows. She has total 5 babies. So she's saying, I had my great financial improvement out of these 2 cows.
Charity basically takes away initiative from people. You are not responsible when you receive charity. So we have to move on to something else which never looked at very carefully, which is addressing poverty issue in a business way. And we are convinced through our experience that poor people are as capable as anybody else in responding to a business environment and take advantage of that business environment.
The beginning of the 1990s, it was a big crisis in the fishery in Norway, and in the district it was a big problem that the women went to the south to get work. It's few women who want to have a job in the fishery. So if we want to have women here, want them to stay here, we have to help them to establish their own business, to get their own jobs. And at that time it was a woman in Oslo. She has been in Bangladesh looking for this Grameen system, and she told us about the system, the group system and the whole thing, and said that maybe this could be used in Norway too.
There was a meeting several years ago in Hamnøy, a small fishing village in Lofoten. I was on this meeting, and there was a council from Oslo who introduced this idea of the Women's Bank for the women in Lofoten, telling how they thought it to be. I was interested, but at that time it was nothing for me. Later I knew from the newspaper that we had a Women's Bank, and then suddenly I needed money, and called a friend of mine which was into this bank.
In Norway today there is 37 women banks and about 70 groups in the women banks. And we say we have about 400 members in the country. We ask the state for money, and all the groups have 200,000 crowns. And from this capital, the members can loan their money for their small business.
I needed money fast, and I knew that in this Women's Bank, if they had believed in your idea, there was not very much, things around it. It was just they decided to give you money or not to give you money if you enter a group. So it took me 4 or 5 days from I, took this phone call to a friend and asked if there was a seat for me, until I had the 50,000 kroner to start this shop.
The women out here, the men are fishermen, and they don't have so much education. They are living on a farm with some sheep, and they can't speak foreign languages, so they are a little bit timid. When the tourists came, they go into their farms and hide themselves. In my group there are 5 women, and we will back each other. If you feel now, oh, I can't manage anything more, then you can phone them and they will help you.
Vivian. Hej. And Eveline. Vito.
Ja, Eileen, We can see that the row-wise chairman, 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 all chairman in one row, and the secretary the next row, and the group member 1, group member 2, group member 3, that way it goes on.
Søknad ble behandlet. I used all my money for it, so and I cannot say something about it.
Jora hatun tibole pani ke khan. Sanitary paper.
Hatt utstilling og så har hun jobba. Så ingen ferie og ingen
In Grameen, discipline is the basic factor in operation of the bank. We will grow vegetable all the year round. We'll eat, surplus we'll sell in the market. We'll do sapling during the sapling time. We'll keep families as small.
বাড়িঘরের আশেপাশে বাড়িঘরের আশেপাশে বাড়িঘরের আশেপাশে সরকারি মানব না দুই সন্তানের জননী
Sjøl takk. Do we want to? The money I take from the woman here, it's a saving account. It's a sort of security. If she don't pay, she don't have this money back, no ever. Then it's go to the women's bank. It stays in the rules, and then everyone should pay 150 Norwegian crowns each meeting.
Assalamu alaikum. Teen. Sad. Boshin. Assalamu alaikum. Apa boshte pari? Boshin.
My idea was if we make urban and rural both available for Grameen programs, then urban programs will have more and more focus. People will start moving to the rural areas to come to the urban areas to get the benefits of the Grameen program. So urban areas become doubly more attractive to the people, and that is one idea that we want to resist. We would like to make the rural areas more attractive for people so that we do not create mega city out of a Dhaka or something.
I want to stay here. I don't want to go to a big town or a big centra, because here I have friends, and the Kvinne Bank can give me that opportunity to stay here, and that I also think very many other members of Women's Bank think also, because in a big town you would be so small that you not have a chance, I think.
Yeah, to be in a women bank is just to be in a marriage without a ring, because you have to be very honest with each other. Everybody in the group has their own profession, like knitting and sewing, and I'm artist and journalist and many different things, and we are different in age too, but it's okay.
হ্যালো আধা ঘন্টা পরে
Cell phone provides women in a loan basis for 2 years. 2 বছরের জন্য দেওয়া হয় তো 2 years loan, and repayment is every week, which it doesn't burden them. They can pay out of their income, and after 2 years she becomes the owner of the cell phone.
We started this Grameen phone company 2 years back. Actually, our launching date was 26th March of 2 years back, so 1997. 26th March we chose because that was Independence Day, so we thought this would be an appropriate day to start. And first telephone was given on that day to a village woman, and that was the beginning. Today we have more than 300 villages where we have telephone ladies, and we have very good results coming out of that. And this year in 1999 we plan to have 2,000 villages under our coverage under Grameen phone system.
হ্যালো, হ্যাঁ, কেমন আছো তুমি?
Grameen's contribution in GDP was 1.5%, 1.7% in the past, and it's growing as we go along. Its contribution is more than the whole transportation sector in Bangladesh. So it's not just a tiny piece or is in a category of miscellaneous. It's a major sector in the whole GDP.
I think, and I mean, that the man can't get so much from so little money.
Yunus said that credit is a human right. So I don't think it's women or men. This system could also be being used for men. In Bangladesh it's for women and men, but most for women, because women is those who start small scale and building up. The men, they need a lot of money when they start, most of them in Bangladesh and in Norway. I think men are the same all over the world and the women are the same.
In Lofoten Island, the first impression that it's a midnight sun. I never thought that you could have a situation where long nights and long days we are sleeping during the day because it's a night time at that time. And also big eggs by all those seabirds. I don't know what they. The day I was there, it's a very clear weather, so you can see miles from those islands. It's a very clear vision. Well, this is the hub of all the banks in the world. Banking has been lifted to a great height by Switzerland. So standing here, I feel that while the banking has been perfected to serve the interest of the rich, now Switzerland can take the lead to take the next step to create the banking worldwide, which will be serving the poor. We made a beginning, small beginning, but still we have not impacted on the banking world as such. If Switzerland takes that position or takes that initiative, it will impact an entire financial world throughout the world.